Welcome to Backstage Banter, the show where two guys who used to play in a band talk everything rock. And basically, the way we plan this show, it's going to be everything like classic rock, but also what is it like to play in a rock band with a group of guys? Because me and this guy here, we played actually in a couple bands together. We have some funny stories about that and, how we met, but also let's also deep dive into the whole world of classic rock, which personally I love, man. I mean, I still remember like putting on headphones and listening to Hendrix for the first time, right? It's uh it's an amazing feeling, and honestly I feel bad for anybody who doesn't get to experience that in their life. And the crazy part is some people don't. Anyway, that's what the show is going to be about. Okay, I think I've given you a little taste of what it's going to be about. But before we get into anything, let's talk about how we met. But I'm Mike Bolton, okay, and this is
Rob.
Rob, Rob Sages, and we're gonna get into how exactly we met. I'm a Canadian-born guy, and Rob here, Roberto, I call him two different names. He came from he came from Brazil, and he came to Canada originally as an immigrant to the country, but we met and like the rest just took off from there. So, Rob, why don't you take it away? Give me your like rendition of how we met because it was a pretty funny story.
A rendition, yeah. I remember it was grade 11 guitar class,
Yeah.
and it was my second semester. It was my first year of high school in Canada. So this was like early '04, and it was my second semester also in music because the previous semester I was what the hell did I play? Saxophone. I was playing the saxophone. And then '04 guitar. The whole class is just guitar. And I remember I was sitting near. I don't know if I was sitting behind you, next to you. Um, but
Who
I
was
do
behind
remember. I think it was yeah. I think you're like to my front and right, and then
you? Yeah,
I remember
it was.
Jeff. I remember Jeff was around there too,
Yeah.
and then but yeah, no, and then I don't recall how. I think you and Jeff were talking, but I already knew him because I was in a class with his brother previously.
Mm. Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess that's how we kind of got introduced. And then I remember coming up to you one day at the end of a class. I'm like, "Yo, you got a band or something?" Or and you're like, "No." Like, "Oh, you wanna get together and jam?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." But I remember you had a job interview to go to that day, at good old Swiss Chalet, and then you went off. Yeah, you went off to that, and then but we did get together a little bit later. I think you came over to my place originally,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then, yeah, and then that was it. We started jamming, then introduced you to Danilo, who
Yeah.
uh, who I had met the year like previously, a few months before, playing soccer. Imagine that two Brazilian guys meet playing soccer, and then yeah, and then you met him, and then we kind of got together, and then he
Little
brought.
little funny thing about that is that you are a Brazilian guy, but you don't particularly like soccer that much, right?
No, no, no. I never. Well, I liked it when I was little. Grew up playing it, and then yeah, just never really had like a. And I was never good. Like I
Mm.
was always the goalie because I'm tall, right? So
Uh,
I was always one of the tallest in my class. So I was like, they'd always like, yeah, you wanna play goalie? Like, sure, why not? Like that's how I got picked all the time. And I was pretty good as a goalie, but not as a player.
You know what that shows is you being a Brazilian and not loving soccer shows that you have the ability to separate from the crowd a little bit. It's
Yeah,
it's kind of funny, but like it's also true is that every fucking Brazilian loves soccer. And by being that one Brazilian who doesn't like, is not like an absolute soccer fanatic, it's like, it actually shows that, like, nah, like I like what I like, and I don't actually particularly love soccer. So it's kind of commendable in a way, but anyway, enough about that. Um, we we met in grade 11 guitar class. I have a bit of a photographic memory. You're good with birthdays.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not good at birthdays. This guy is really good at birthdays. But
Do you know your own?
I, well, yeah, I do know my own. Thank you for that. Uh, but I actually have a almost a photographic, and I don't know if you have this, a photographic memory of like different events.
Mm,
Do you have that? Would you say that?
like when we met?
Yeah, like I have a photographic memory of like important or like certain events in my life. Do you
Mm.
have that or no?
I don't remember this like the exact moment where you and I met, but I do remember asking you like if you had a band and if you wanted to jam. I do
Yeah,
remember that, and I could take you to the exact spot in that room where
yeah.
I asked
Oh,
you
okay,
that.
okay. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So,
it was like by the desk, is in front of the class.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Or the piano or something. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. It was right there. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so yeah, but I have this kind of crazy like memory where I can throw myself back to certain moments in time. Like I remember playing at different venues, and I'll remember being like in the crowd, speaking to certain people, and it just being not everyone, not every single event like that, but if it was kind of memorable in some way, I'll remember it, right? So it's funny how the human brain works. You're like Rain Man when it comes to remembering birthdays, and I'm Rain Man when it comes to like, ah, yes, I remember speaking to that girl at the Horseshoe Tavern, and she was talking to me about how like, like this and that, blah blah blah, right? I'll remember that, okay, but I won't remember people's birthdays, unfortunately.
Well,
Anyway, what I remember about how we met was kind of like I just remember the first time we may have spoken anyway. I might have been playing like a Stairway to Heaven or something on the guitar. And I think we'd maybe spoken a little bit before there was this just like introduction of just like, hey man, do you have a band like want to play together? Probably there was some words
oh, I'm
passed
sure
back
there
and
was.
forth.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna come up to some random guys like, "Hey, you want to gym?"
Yeah.
No,
It
we've
was
spoken before, and I think it was because Jeff was like sitting next to you, and like I said, I
yeah.
already knew him, so that's kind of how I like kind of made my way in.
Yes. But let's also talk about something I think is very important
Mm.
because I feel like it will be a bit of a theme maybe for this show. And it's that sort of like it's that rebellious spirit that guys who play in rock bands sometimes have, where it's like I was a bit of a shit disturber in that class.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were so much, but
No, a
I
couple of times maybe.
I was like, so again, this was a grade 11 guitar class, okay? And I just sort of disregarded a lot of the rules. And it makes perfect sense why I would, though, because I was fucking 16 years old, I guess.
17 we were.
16 or 17. Man, that right there is peak rebellion. Like, if you're not rebellious at 16 or 17 years old, you may have something wrong with you. That's peak rebellion. And I think you get a little better as the years go on. Like at 18, you're a little better. 19, you're a little better. At least I'm talking from my own experience anyway. But 16 or 17 is peak, like, oh God, what's the word?
Yeah, rebellion, I guess.
Peak, like, yeah, like sort of animosity or peak rebellion. against
Anti-establishment, man.
yeah, that whole thing, like
Yeah,
against like the establishment. And but I mean shit, for me that's only grown over time. It's just that it's a little more sophisticated now. But
yeah,
yeah, it's a lot more sophisticated actually. But but back then it's very raw. That sort of that rebellion back then is just this, you don't know, it's like rebel without a cause. It's you don't know exactly why you hate the system yet, but you fast forward from 16 to fucking 38 years old. I'm 38. You're 39 now, right?
yeah,
It's okay,
yeah.
man. Don't worry. Don't be too glum. Uh, you fast forward and it's like your understanding of why you were a rebel at 16 actually kind of makes sense. Like, um, it now makes sense why I didn't like the system. I now understand it. And that grade 11 guitar class, and Mr. Graham was the teacher. Hey, Mr. Graham, if you're tuning in, hope you're well. Hope everything is well.
He was a
Uh,
good dude, man.
he was a good dude,
He was
and he
a
was a
oh man, he was a genius, man. Like musically speaking, like he was just like out there. The
yeah,
thing, like you remember, like
great
we had
musician.
it was like how many people in that class? Like 20, 30. He literally split like the class in four and did four different arrangement, like yeah, arrangements, I guess. Like, the arrangement for like, what song did we play? Was it Radiohead? Oh shit, what's the name of that song? You do it to yourself, and that's the way. What's the name of that song?
Oh God, which
Bow,
yeah, I know what
bow,
you
bow,
mean.
bow, 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 bow. Yeah, Hurt. No, not the Hurt. It's
You just take out Radiohead, television.
just, just.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then yeah, he made the arrangement for like for four different parts in each guitar, and then we had like a group of players in each section, and it was like this like incredible arrangement that he did, and the guy was just oh man, whew.
I have to say, the guy that was actually incredible what he put together there. He
Yeah,
basically rearranged the song Just by Radiohead, and it was incredible, right? Like, was that all? He just arranged that all with like different, like all from with guitars playing
yeah,
in its bass and like,
yeah, the
or
melody
whatever.
or whatever, yeah, yeah, and then
Yeah.
like and each section had the next number of guitars or whatever, and then we all played together, and it just sounded like this awesome, like I want to say orchestra, but like it was pretty dope actually what he did. Yeah, I had it for 3 semesters, man, back to back. I had him from a first, second, and third semester. So when we went back to school in September '04, I had him again, and I was playing the bass on that one. So it was like a regular like high school band with like brass sections and whatever, flute, and then uh, clarinets and whatnot. Yeah, but I was on the bass. Um, but yeah, we had. I remember this was a funny one. Like we had 3 songs that year or that semester that we had to learn, and for the life of me, I just could not get the last one of them. I think it was the last one that we played. I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't do it. So it came. So Christmas concert came around, and then there we were on stage in the auditorium and all. And then the song came, and I turned the volume knob on the bass all the way down, and I just like yeah, I just pretended I was playing. And then you and Danilo came up to me after, like, yo, bro, that was so good, or whatever. I'm like, yeah, no, one of the songs that turned it down actually. I couldn't play it. So yeah,
I think I remember that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, those were interesting times for sure.
Oh, it was,
Um,
it was it was good, man. It was good, and we didn't know.
by the way, that term I was looking for, it finally came to me, and it's like teenage angst.
Mm,
You know, you talk about angst.
yeah,
So, to me, in terms of angst, like it kind of like doesn't, if I had to sum it up in like one song, like Teenage Spirit by Nirvana really encompasses that sort of like that vibe of just like you're angry about something, you're not exactly sure what it is yet.
Right. Wait, hold
But when
on. Teenage,
you're
is that an actual song or was it Smells Like Teen Spirit?
that's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay.
Did I not say smells like Teen Spirit?
No, it's that Spirit.
Oh, okay. What I meant was smells like Teen Spirit. And that song really encompasses like if you had to describe like that teenage angst of
Yeah.
being like 16 or 17 and like not quite understanding yet why you're angry, like a little bit frustrated, a little bit perturbed in a way. That song kind of sums it up for me because that's the thing about that's the thing about like childhood and then also like that young adult phase is like if you're a thinking person with any ability to critical think, when you hit those teenage years, you should be probably angry about stuff a little bit, like or not even angry, but a little bit disconnected. And
Yeah.
that's this could be a whole episode. We probably should record this on a future episode here. A little bit meta to say that, but I remember that being in high school and walking around listening to the Doors and being like, yeah, I relate way more to what's coming into my ears right now than what I relate from what I'm hearing from my fucking teachers in school. Let me tell you that. Right. So anyway, that's how we met. Let's talk a little bit about like kind of like what we do now. Okay. And I'll start it off. Um, I'll make this kind of brief because I'm sure we'll talk about this on future episodes as well. But basically, I played in bands from the age of 16 to 27 years old. And at around 25 or 26, I got a sales job, just a regular retail sales job. But the only difference is I took it like a little bit more seriously than the average person. And I actually started reading sales books. And I realized that I could increase my income if I just learned more. And that was a big game changer for me mentally, right? So after that point, when I basically also had kind of like a record year, I don't know, increased my commission or by like $13,000 or something, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it felt significant at the time, right? Um, and was there was a number of months where like I was like the number one salesperson for this company and such. I started taking sales more seriously. And then that's when something like kind of opened up in my mind where I was like, all right, became more business minded. And then being more business minded led me to online business. And even you and we tried a couple online business things like early on in the days, back
Yeah.
in like what, 2016 probably.
Yeah. 16, 17. Yeah.
Yeah. So we tried a little business venture back in 2016. I am it was just a social media marketing agency in like the most generic sense of the word. We were calling up like real estate agents trying to pitch them social media marketing, or like, we actually had a in-person meeting with a basement renovation company. You remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
His name was like Steve, right?
Uh. Ooh. Yeah. Maybe. I think.
Yeah. I think his name was Steve.
It
Anyway,
might have been. Yeah.
we had that meeting with him, and that he almost became a client. Like I feel like he was actually pretty close to becoming a client. Problem is, we didn't really know that much about social media marketing. And we really had no, and this is where I think he would have ghosted, is we didn't have much to show at the time.
Right.
Now, there are creative ways to show that you can prove a business model or that you can get so many results. Anyway, long story short, that was not the winner for me. Next thing I went on to was food blogging. I created this Instagram food blog page. And then with that, I grew an audience. And then in growing that audience, I actually ended up doing restaurant social media marketing. And then that basically led to doing something that is not that well known actually, even to this day, which is like ghostwriting, social media ghostwriting, writing for different personal brands on platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn. And that's what I'm doing still to this day with a focus on the LinkedIn side of things. So that's what I'm doing now. But it's been what a interesting sequence of events or turn of events from playing in bands all around Ontario, including cover bands, original bands. At one point, I was playing in like four fucking five bands at a time, like the Dreamboats, the Morning Thieves, the Honey Runners pregame show, and the fucking Joel Martin rendition or whatever. Like, but I was playing in a lot of different bands at one point. And would I say I got burnt out? I don't know if I ever got burnt out. It was like really actually exhilarating, man, to the very last day. But I started to realize maybe this whole money side of things, sales, marketing, whatever, once I got a taste of that, like slightly better money, I'm like, am I going the right path? The cool thing is, though, and this is my edge, is that I'm the rock guy, I'm the musician guy who's in sales and marketing. And that's where you kind of throw people off and get their attention, where it's kind of like you're not fucking boring. And I feel like prospects appreciate that because you're not just a lame ass fucking boring motherfucker who's kissing their ass. And that's my advantage. Satius, Mr. Rob, tell us what's the journey since we started playing music together,
Oh God. A
beginning
bunch
to
of
end.
jobs, beginning to end. Yeah. Well, you got me the job at Swiss Chalet, and I was like, yeah. What?
Talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for a second, like
God.
just briefly.
Dishwasher. Just dishwasher. Do we talk? I don't know, man. That was.
Yes.
Ugh, God.
Yeah,
I
because you
sort of
mentioned
forget.
like in our grade 11 guitar class,
Yeah, you
like
had the interview, and
I
yeah,
couldn't jam the first day because I had some interview at Swiss Chalet,
yeah, to
Canadian
be a
restaurant company,
dishwasher.
big chain. And then like eventually I actually ended up getting a job there. So let's talk about
Yeah,
that for a second.
you left like a few months after it started, not long after. But yeah, I stayed there for a little bit longer. I think it was
Well,
down to like 1 day a week, like every Sunday or something. Yeah, I was like 1 day a week, and then they eventually just they didn't even tell me like they're letting me go. They just didn't put my name on the schedule. So I went. Yeah, I went to the manager to ask like, hey, what's going on? Like, yeah, we just found somebody who wants to work some more hours. Like, all right, cool, whatever.
pretty sure I quit, right?
I can't. I don't know if you. I think you quit. I think you.
Yeah.
Did you think? Right, you think you got fired?
No, I think I quit. I have
Mm.
a bit of a history of I don't know if I've ever been fired from a job, but
Yeah, you were. Yeah, there's
yeah,
one.
there was one Pet Value, right?
Nope. Were you fired from
Which
that?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, Long McQuaid. I was gonna say.
Tell me where you get. Oh, Long McQuaid.
Yeah,
Was I?
yeah. Do we talk
Sure.
about this? Yeah, because
Hey, fuck.
somebody, because somebody
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
yeah,
no, we
yeah,
don't. Let's not go too deep into that one.
yeah.
Um,
Not
so
your,
it,
not your doing per se, but
yeah. So
yeah,
that's an interesting subject right there. But that was kind of one I would almost cross that off the list because it's kind of like one of those where it was not you, but you got roped into something. You feel
yeah.
me? Yeah.
Well, you knew shady shit was going on. You just didn't raise any concern. You didn't
Yeah.
rat anybody out, so they canned you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This, fellas, whoever's listening right now, if you're listening, I expect us to have an audience of about 3 people in the beginning. But listen, if you're listening to this right now, okay, I am a man of integrity. But yeah, no, anyway. Um, it was
stitches get stitches.
anyway,
I don't
you
wrap you up.
continue on in terms of like
The job, yeah. So
yeah,
yeah,
so
I got
Swiss
fired from that, and
Chalet, where'd you work after that?
shit, I have no idea. I don't know. I've
Come on.
worked at like a few different places. I've worked at car rental companies. I worked at Palladium at one time, in Mississauga.
You've had a lot, I feel like you've had a lot of jobs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then did I quit that? Did I get? I can't remember if I got fired or quit from that. I've worked. What else? Um, well, like when I finally landed a steady job in '07 doing retail, and then which is a pretty cool place in
Vision?
Mississauga. Nichols.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So selling law enforcement and emergency services gear and uniform and stuff. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah, you got to measure like female police officers, right?
Paramedics.
Oh,
Yeah.
we all know those female paramedics, man.
Yeah, well, I
Damn.
also have to measure like security guards and shit, dudes and stuff. So it's like not as
Oh,
glamorous as you
not
think.
so fun. Did you have to measure in their groin region or what?
So well, no, because I always did on the outside.
That's good.
Yeah,
Happy to hear that. Happy to hear
yes, I
that.
always went on the outside. There was
I
one
had
time.
my suspicions. I had my suspicions
Yeah,
on
thanks.
how much you liked measuring the groin area of those particular
Yeah, no thanks.
paramedics. Anyway,
Oh.
then what else after that? Now,
So
obviously,
after
one thing
so after
I'll
that,
point I'll point out one thing. You were
uh,
playing in bands this whole time, right?
so there was us with the rollers, the steady rollers, and that ended in '08 because Danilo left, I think in '06, and then the other guy came in. He was a good bass player, but he wasn't a fit. And then we kind of like went our separate
He
ways.
wasn't a what the HR department calls a cultural fit. Um, yeah,
Yeah, and
that
then you kind of went
oh,
your
bro,
way.
that right
Uh,
there. I'm making a little note on that one. Note about bands and the
oh, being a fit.
cultural fit because that's a thing, man. Damn. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
So that was it was during the steady rollers day, and then that ended in '08. And then you went. Oh, I remember you sold all your guitars and you got a bass and you switched
Ooh,
up. Yeah, I remember coming over one time and you had this like was it a P bass or a jazz bass? I can't remember, but it was black on black with a
precision,
precision. It's P bass.
precision.
Yeah, so it was like
Yeah,
black on black with a maple neck. I'm
yeah.
gonna find a picture of you playing. I'm gonna put in the video.
I guess it
Um,
was an actual American. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Oh, it was a nice bass. And then
yeah.
you picked up the bass and whatnot. But you were playing with the wet.
I
I
switched
started
to
playing.
bass so quick, man. Like I took all my guitar fucking shit and just immediately, and I realized like, yeah, with bass, you want to be less flashy, but if you can play riffs on a guitar, man, you can, and you got rhythm, you
Yeah.
can fucking play the bass like a motherfucker.
And
Like
then
it's,
the one thing that's unique to you as well that you were able to do is sing and play the bass. You can do
yeah,
both, which was like high demand because you
yeah.
can't find that. And then, but yeah, you switched. Then you were playing with the wet, and I was playing in a cover band with Melody. and
Yeah.
then yeah, Jamarco. What the hell is it? He was playing, I think, with White Cowbell, Oklahoma, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'd always come to see you guys play, the three of you, and then hanging out with you, Marcus, and Lucas. And then once
Man,
Lucas, like then I
the
eventually,
memories, man. Like
yeah, I
you
know.
can always, I don't know about you, but like I was telling you about that photographic memory,
No, I
like
remember.
I can, dude, I remember like, like you said, Melody, right? Like I remember walking with her along some street or something, or going to her house party at her place, or
You,
some gig at a certain venue, like where
yeah,
certain people came to see. It was a good time, man. When you rewind about, let me think. So you're saying that 2008 was when what? When you what? Like when you what was that? It was a certain job.
oh, it was still at Nichols there.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I know.
still.
So a little bit later than that. But like actually let's focus on like 2010 or 2012.
That was the
Like
Dreamboats era.
yeah, 2012 was like a peak time. I remember I was playing in like the Morning Thieves, the Dreamboats, Honey Runners, maybe,
You weren't there.
and
No, you
like
weren't there yet.
maybe
No,
not
you weren't
quite,
there.
maybe
No,
not quite.
you were doing pregame show, Dreamboats, and Morning Thieves.
Pre-game show, Morning Thieves,
And the Dreamboats.
Dreamboats.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
yeah,
then
okay,
and every now and then we do like the Run BMC thing, and then like I play with you guys. It was like you, Brian, and Chris, and then I join you guys like every now and then.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Run BMC,
Run
right?
BMC. Yeah, BMC. Yeah.
Wow, what a name! Wow, gotta credit whoever gave that one. Jesus Christ, not that great, but uh, yeah. So that's kind of well. These days, I know you're playing in a band now. You're playing in a cover band, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, after
What's
like
the
10 years of not playing anything.
what's the name of the cover band and like what are you kind of like doing right now in terms of that?
Raquel's Riot. So the lead singer and the girl that started the band. She's really good at getting gigs. She's very good at like networking and stuff. Like for you to have an idea, we played at the CNE last year, which is it's a big deal. Like playing the CNE in Toronto. Like without not even a year of gigging, we played the CNE. Bands have been doing it for like 10 years plus, and they never played it. Right? They tried, but they never played it. So like not even a year playing together, we played the CNE, and then we did it again this year, a couple weeks back as well. We played the
Time, the time with bands. And this is like another episode in itself. Doesn't really matter that much. Little note, time. Like the you can fast forward success, meaning like bands who have auditioned for a certain gig or a certain event for 10 years. That's all well and good. They might be also auditioning in 15 years and not getting it, like
yeah
submitting content or submitting tracks and not getting it. I hate to say this, but if you're not getting it, it's because you don't have that like it factor, or you don't have the audience, or you don't have the specific appeal that is that thing that is making that business, because it is a business, by the way.
yeah
And this is the thing that has changed so much. Because when we were playing in music, you and I were playing, I was somewhat business oriented. I remember days when we were playing at Finn McCool's, where my man Chris W.J. Hummel would go into the back room, into the office, and he would negotiate a deal somewhere along the line of the dude who goes out with a chick 12 times before hooking up, if I had to explain it. Playing the overly nice guy to the degree of like, bro, just fucking ask for the sale. Like, and then my favorite story of the dream modes. And John Marco, I hope you're watching. Chris, I hope you're watching. Flag, whatever. Prod, Satius, I hope you watch this too. Watch it back. But my favorite moment of ever playing in the dreamboats was that I just walked back into the office at one of the gigs we were playing where we were stuck at about $100 per guy, I think, right?
Yeah,
$100 per guy. I won't
yeah,
name the
for the bet.
bar. Maybe I already did, but let's
You
just skip
did.
over that. Maybe I did. Yeah. Um, but I walked back to the back office and my presence alone was enough where they were like, yeah, we were actually thinking we could give you guys a raise. All it took was me walking back there and just kind of giving a more stern look, right? And it's interesting too because of the division of where certain guys have gone, right? Where it's like, yeah, I ended up in being a business owner and being in sales and marketing because I am more of an asshole. I am sort of more of a hard driven sales guy. I am a marketer. I love marketing. I'm I am creative though. That's the thing, man. It's like, and that's what got me into music. It's like that music is marketing. You're putting out a message, right? And that's what I love about music is you can convey a message, right? The reason why I went to this whole like business and sales and this thing that attracted me about it is like, yeah, you get to convey a message, but at the end of the day, if you do the psychological, if you lay it down correctly, you'll also close a deal, and that's exciting to me.
You're doing well too, though, today, because they're still going, right? So, but they're doing well
Oh yeah, no, no,
in California.
they
They built into something
let's
like
give a little tip of the hat to the Dreamboats because I've realized more and more they actually are killing it.
yeah.
They're not doing the $100 per night like
Oh no, dude,
gigs.
well, freaking
They're making
theater.
they're making thousands. They're
Yeah,
making multiple thousands.
they sell out theaters, man. When they come home here and they play at the Live in Art Center in Mississauga, it's packed, like packed, not one empty seat, and that thing holds I don't know like four, maybe more than 500 people in there. I don't even know how many.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
It just
they're
goes to show the power, also the power of a local audience. Like when you are the hometown, you there is no, if I was to ask you, who is the hometown Mississauga act that plays 50s, 60s rock and roll? Come on.
yeah.
If you could give me another example, it would probably be guys who are in their 60s or 70s who are not quite as good as they were when they were in their 30s or, now obviously the Dreamboats are in their 30s, so I'll just stop right there. None of us are in our 20s, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
And Chris Hummel is looking like a George Clooney, Filipino George Clooney. So like we'll just stop right there. Chris, I
Yeah,
hope
guy,
you see this.
he's
Chris, I
like
hope
what
you see
42. If
this.
he's 42, he still looks 25.
Clip this moment where I say Filipino George Clooney. But anyway, um,
We're going bald, and he's got a full set of hair.
Nah, but dude, I could have a full head of hair if I was more shameless.
I'm losing mine.
If I was more shameless with my thinning, right? But these Filipinos, man, they age like fine wine. They
Yep.
age like fine wine. Anyway, that kind of covers like what we're up to these days. But like, um, let's talk a little bit about like Casacious, man. Well, I don't know who it was, whether it was me or you, or more just kind of like a collaborative. I feel like it was just like we were hanging out, Perry Sound, Ontario, you know, the home of Bob Dylan. Did I say Bob Dylan? I meant Bob Shillen, you idiot. Anyway, we were hanging out in
God.
Northern Ontario, and you came up to my family's place actually, and we got talking. And I know that for a long period of time, you've been like, we got to start a band, man. We got to start a band. But like, I've been so caught up with now what I'm doing now with the whole like ghostwriting thing. It's like, can I really start a band in Canada when I'm also, by the way, I mentioned this not even a single time, I'm not even in Canada. I'm in Latin America. I'm in South America. I'm in Bogota, Colombia right now as we speak. Now, we've talked about starting a band. If I was like permanently in like Toronto or something, or North York or Mississauga or Brampton, God forbid,
Yeah, no.
in some Indian man's basement, um, would we have started a band? Yeah. You know what? Yeah, we probably would have. Because I probably would have needed to blow off some fucking steam on a fucking Friday or Saturday night, you
Yep.
know, because I live in Brampton. Imagine that. Anyway, but obviously we have not started a cover band like with all that going on. You and I, we used to play in bands maybe like, what was it, 10 years ago, roughly?
No, more like 12 plus.
12, 13, 14, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, we haven't been in a band for like 15 years. So what's the reason for this podcast? Is because sometimes, and anybody who's played in a band ever will relate to what I'm saying here. Sometimes you just need to fucking blow off some steam. Now, if there's one thing I fucking do not have as an outlet now in my day-to-day life, but I find other ways. But like playing on stage with a band is one of the most exhilarating feelings of your life. It can be like jumping out of an airplane. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but remember the best. This will put it in line for you, Seixas, as well.
Okay.
Remember when we played at the Opera House
Yes.
and it was
Yes.
like, and we were young, we were like
19.
yeah, 17,
19.
18, 19,
No, no,
19
no,
years old.
19. Yeah, it was
19.
in '06. It was just before Danilo left.
We were 19 years old. We had the full band
Yeah.
in best because you can't, the Steady Rollers is not the Steady Rollers without Danilo,
No.
our good buddy who is now down in Florianopolis, Brazil. Shout out Danilo. Saw him recently. Great guy, absolute gem, legendary motherfucker. Anyway, but it was never quite the same when we tried to do it without him because he was
Yeah.
just such an absolute classic. He was such a good guy and such a good player in not the way that you think of when you think player. Some guys, when you think player, it's like that guy can really read music. No, I mean, this guy could lay it down by ear, right? And just like that's what he was. He's an ear player, and his feel was just so good. He was dirty. He was kind of like aggressive on that bass. He had so much energy on it.
Yeah.
So he was part of the heart of that band, right? Fucking legend. Might see him soon. We'll see. Might go to Florianopolis, Brazil. Anyway, um,
But yeah, I do remember it was
but you
hot though. I
have
was like all sweaty
you
like a pig on that stage.
yeah, you have a moment like that, exhilarating as fuck, right? And you still play the bar gigs and that kind of thing. But it's like, how do you relive those moments? Well, I can tell you a lot of different ways how you as a fucking 38, 39-year-old man can relive those moments without being on a stage playing rock music. But it's like this show right here is paying homage. This is like a tip of the hat to everybody who's ever been on a fucking stage before, because we've been there, we enjoyed it, you're still enjoying it. And anybody who likes classic rock, blues, funk, just good music. Because by the way, I also like Kings of Leon, Muse. Uh, I like James Brown. I like Jimi Hendrix. I like Led Zeppelin. I like Bruce Springsteen. I like the Beatles. I like good Snoop Dogg music. I like deep house electronic music. I like Bob Marley. I like, you know, I just like good music. So for
I
anybody
like
who,
Taylor Swift.
yeah, that might be where we cut. That might be where we cut it. But
I do
so
like the
why are
Spice
we?
Girls though.
But why are we? Hey, man,
I
they
do
were
like the
nice.
Spice Girls, man.
And when we
I
were
love them.
teenage,
Oh god, man, I was like 11 when they broke out. It's just like, oh, this is so cool. To this day, man, I'll rock out and I'll sing with them and everything. Not well, because it's me. I can't sing worse than them,
spice up your
but yeah,
life. Live it a
I'll
good
rock
time,
out.
but live it a bug. Give it a good time.
Yeah,
Na, 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 na,
they
na.
had some bangers, man.
No, they
That
did.
yeah, two
And
beats
if you
on one. That's a
compare,
banger.
so that was pop music back then. If you compare that to now, if you released a banger like that now, I don't know. It could probably pop off even even now. If it was, but here's the thing, and this is probably why I quit music. Uh you can't make excuses. You can't make excuses, but you need to package your sound for today. You must package your sound for today. Unless you are the Dreamboats, our friends, the Dreamboats, like, unless you are them, where you are like, we are a 50s, 60s fucking classic rock and roll cover band, that's what we do. Because you
Yeah,
are going to draw out the boomers. You're going to draw
they
out the
know. Not always,
60
man.
plus, but you're also going to draw out like the
The
20 year
young
old,
ones too. Yeah,
yeah, the 25-year-old woman who still likes Little Richard and the Beatles. And they do exist,
yeah.
right? But that's a very, like, you're playing on the leverage of bands like the Beatles and Little Richard. But if you're gonna like, if you want to make it big today off original music, you need to, I think, tailor your sound a little bit to what's going on right now. A great example of that is like Kings of Leon, Amy Winehouse, the Black Keys, the Arkells. Just take your love of music, but make it a little bit more, slightly more modern. But anyway, this show right here, the idea is this is two guys who used to play in a band throwing it back than when we did play in a band, but all the music we fucking love, right? And diving deep also on like specific artists, specific bands. What did happen with Jim Morrison? What did happen with you know, um Led Zeppelin and what's the name of this the drummer of Led Zeppelin?
John Bonham.
What did happen to John Bonham? Fucking hell. What did happen to John Bonham? What is John Paul? Is John Paul Jones alive? I believe he
Yeah.
is.
Oh yeah, all
He
three of
has
them are
not
alive.
died.
Nope.
Um, you know, what are these people doing today? Let's dive deep a little bit on that. Like, and what you can expect from future episodes. I don't know. We've got a couple ideas in the can in that regard, but we want to talk about like, top bands that we enjoy, our first experience to classic rock. How did we get exposed to it? Because not everyone does, right?
Yeah.
You probably know a lot of people where it's like they never really learned about this music. This music, for everybody who is into this music, it is dying to some degree. However, I would take a moment to say rock and roll never dies, sure. But only the truly intelligent people who dig deeper find this music. It's truly tragic to think that there's kids now who may never heard, like, really truly hear Hendrix or the Beatles. They might hear it in the background. If there's anything that you want, they'll hear it and they'll be like, what is that song, Mom?
You know
And
what? I see that all the time on social media too. Like you scrolling through
yeah,
comments on Instagram, like it'd be like a song, like
if you
song,
want
like
to
an old
see
song, and then people are
truly
like, "What song is
idiotic
that?"
people,
Yeah.
if you want to see idiotic people, look to Instagram. But continue on.
No, I'm just saying, like, just saying, like, you always see somebody like post in the comments, like, "Hey, what song is that?" And it turns out to be like just the other day, man. Um, the guy who was I think was what's that kid's name? Charlie Puth or something. He was talking about everybody wants to rule the world. Tears for Fears. And then somebody in the comment, hey, what song is that?
Yeah.
Never, yeah, like what? Like, how do you not? That's like the 1980s anthem right there.
So I got to be, yeah, I've seen the same thing too. And it's like, what you got to understand is that like 1980s is classic rock now for these kids, right?
Man,
Like
90s are oldies.
everybody wants to rule the world. That is their version of classic rock, unfortunately, because what they don't know as classic rock is like they don't know the Led Zeppelin, the who are you? They don't know. They maybe don't know that shit,
No,
and they hear it, and they may never ask, "What is that?" There are certain people who are so naive that they never dive deeper
yeah.
down the
Or they
rabbit
just don't
hole
have access to it, depending where they
or
live,
don't
right?
have access to it.
Yeah.
And the beautiful part about the internet is it does give you access to information which you may not have otherwise received. So why are we fucking doing this podcast? You know what? If one 13-year-old kid listens to Led Zeppelin because of this show, then I've done my job here. Would you agree, Seixas?
I concur. I
Seixas,
concur.
come on, man.
But
Give me
not,
more.
not, o-
Give me more.
I agree. I concur with you. But not only that, like also, talking about our experiences from, the very beginning. our first show, and playing at a bar for the first time, still not drinking age, but we're playing in a bar and we're getting paid in fries, French fries.
No joke.
Yeah, no, yeah, no joke. We like, oh,
That's not
here's
a
your price.
metaphor.
Like, it's like, yeah, literally, like, here's a plate of French fries for performing tonight. It's like, oh, thanks, man.
I want to pay you boys and fries was like an actual conversation, or like, I want to pay you. You boys can have like whatever you want off of the menu, but I'm not paying you, even though you rented equipment for $50 or whatever. Now, this was back in early 2000s, but
2004.
we rented equipment, paid money for that. Say, I don't know, $50, $100. What was it?
I can't, I don't know. What the hell did we rent? We didn't rent the PA. He had a PA there, but I think we rented amps, maybe
Yeah.
guitar amps, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah. By the way, that's another note. Another note. The Gat.
the
That's
gas.
a bar we played.
Yeah,
Very funny stories from that one. That's something we can definitely cover on a later episode. Uh, but if you're a musician and you've ever played a weird bar, that's
you
another
played a
story.
few different weird bars. You play these
Yeah,
strip
yeah.
clubs, man.
I literally have played a strip club, like, but the bar side of a strip
Yeah.
club in rural buttfuck Ontario. Um, yeah, yeah. So we got some stuff to talk about for sure. Um, yeah. Um, you know what, man? I think that's about it. Any last words? Anything to say? I feel like I've dominantly just like talked too much on this podcast, but
Nah, we're good.
what are you thinking, man?
Uh,
I have to say,
uh
you're the one where if you hadn't pushed me, this podcast may never have happened. So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about that.
well, as you mentioned before, I've been on your butt for a while to get you to, do music again and start a band, like an original band, not cover. Because sometimes ideas just flow out of me, but I can never finish a damn song. And I'm not much of a lyricist. That's always been you. Uh, and obviously, there is the
And singer.
camaraderie. And the
And
singer, yeah,
singer.
and singer, yeah. But there's also the camaraderie. I've known you for like 20 plus years and all that stuff. I know your musicianship and all that. So it's like it's just part of the battle's already done. There, it's like get you, like cool. You already played the bass. I played the guitar. All we need is a drummer, and then we're set. We can start something, and then we can always add later on. But like you're so into your thing now that you don't want to do it. You just don't want to do it. So, and then I don't know if it was you that mentioned a podcast or me. I forget. And then I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. We talk about experiences and funny stories and funny people that we've met along the way over the last 2 decades and whatnot. Being just playing at different places and seeing different things like bloodstained mattresses. Yeah.
Oh, you remember that?
Oh yeah. Do you know where I'm talking about?
The Ganaraska.
Yep. Yep. In Port Hope. Yeah, man. I remember
I
the
wasn't
little.
sure if you knew about that
I
that
was there
particular.
once. I went there once, and then I remember like Hummel being in his room, and then like he lifted up the sheet, and I don't know if it was the mattress or the sheet that had blood stains on it. I'm like, ugh, you gonna sleep here, dude?
Maybe we'll cut that part. I don't know. Maybe we'll leave it. Who
I leave it.
knows?
It's something that musicians go through, right? Like
You
you're
got to be
playing at
raw.
places, and
You got to be
huh?
raw with this shit. You got to be raw.
Yeah,
But
I'm not cutting that out.
um,
But yeah,
but
like
what
just talk about all that stuff, and
if
then
I was
and
to
also,
ask you, if I was to ask you quickly though, and then we'll
mm,
probably end it after that. But what does this podcast kind of mean for you, man? Like you've been playing in bands for the last 10 years. What does this mean for you? Like, do you remember like If you could speak to the 16-year-old kid now who wants to start a band, like if we were to go back and like you asked me want to jam or whatever, but what does this podcast potentially mean for you from like that sort of angle? Like, what is it? Why classic rock? Why any of this? Why pick up a guitar? Why any of this? Why music?
I have no answer for that. It's
Come on,
just
man.
it's just I don't know. It's inside. It's in my head. It's in here, man. Like it's just I don't know. It just came over me one day. The Beatles inspired me to play the guitar. I was never into anything prior to that. Like no sports, no music. Like I never, nothing. And I was 12 years old or 13 or something, and then I discovered the Beatles. And I remember like listening to them in the house and everything. But like I remember sitting down for the very first time because Let It Be got stuck in my head. Don't remember listening to it prior to that, but I knew the song and it got stuck in my head, and I knew my mom had the CD, so I put it in and I put the track on repeat, man, and I played that over and over again for like an hour, and then I went back like let me see what else is on this. So I went back to the beginning of the CD, track one, I think it was Two of Us. Then track two came on. That's Dig a Pony, and that riff, that opening riff, that thunderous punch in the face. It was a kick in the face, man. That when I heard that for the very first time, everything changed. That was it. Like, wow. And then I was
Yeah.
into them from that day on, hardcore. And that's one thing too, like I miss, and I'm kind of doing that again, telling a second, but it's one thing that I miss is like listening to songs for the very first time, discovering these songs. And it's like, I miss that. Like listening, oh man, wow. And because there's a first time that you heard that song and just something snapped inside you and it changed you. And then, but I'm like, I'm discovering cool tunes now with country music because I was never into it. But I decided, to give it a go to like learn how to play and then up my chops a little bit because country guitar is actually pretty damn cool and hard. But I'm discovering like cool tunes by Toby Keith and Brad Paisley and Diamond Rio and Brooks and Dunn and all these cats from like the 80s and the 90s and 2000s. But yeah, like I'm discovering those songs now. But like nothing beats like listening to Little Wing for the first time, or what else? Like anything, like Zeppelin for the first time, like listening to Black Dog for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I
Let me
mean?
sum up what you're saying in one word:
Ah,
discovery.
yeah,
It's about the fucking 17, 13, 11, 8. I don't care what age they are, but or 23 or 36, because that can happen too, where you are 36 and you just discovered classic rock. I don't care, man. But you just discovered a certain type of music. I don't care what age you are. And you have that feel
yeah,
that hits you so hard. We, I can still, I can still find that sometimes it's a Colombian salsa song for me, right? I'll be honest. Sometimes it's now a Colombian salsa song. Uh, but you expand your mind, you discover something, it hits you, and you're just like, damn. I think that's part of what we're doing here is like,
yeah,
let's talk about the old, let's talk a little bit about the new. If we can work in some of the new, if we can work in some of these tracks into the podcast, I think that's great. That's what we want to do, man. This show right here is about the love of music.
yeah. And
That's
any
one.
any any young person, like teenagers that just picked up a guitar and want to start a band in their garage or basement or whatever, and they're
Yeah,
watching this, like they can essentially like learn too, because like we've been through a lot of crap over the years with bands and stuff, so they can
I
learn.
think
They
I
can,
realized something else as well This show is not just that. It's not just the love of music. It's also the practical side of things. And we
Yeah.
will come back to that. I promise you. Okay. If you're watching this right now, I promise you we'll come back to this.
To the two people watching, we'll be back.
Yes. To the 69 people watching right now, because I feel like this show is blowing up every moment with every word I say. No. Um, how to get your first gig.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you this, as much of a dinosaur as I am, if you told me tomorrow, bro, welcome back to music, you need to get your first bar gig, are you fucking kidding me? I could get that in 24 hours. And
A little
I
different now.
hmm,
It's a little different now.
maybe.
Yeah. No, not maybe. Like, believe me, I'm doing it. Well, not me, but like I hear it. It's like, yeah, it's different. You
I
gotta go
know it is. I know it's different.
through a
Dude, it's
booking agent now.
2025. They can
Yeah.
pay a DJ to spin tracks.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that.
No, it's not, I don't mean
However,
that. I mean like you need a booking agent. Like they work
no,
the bars now. A lot of them work with booking agents. We have one.
sure. But I mean, okay, unfair advantage here, unfair advantage. I have a 27,000 follower Instagram page. I have a 20,000 follower LinkedIn. I have a 13,000 follower Twitter. If you told me tomorrow, uh, oh, hey man, let's form a band, let's get a gig, I could get a gig. Now,
Yeah.
rewind, fast forward, whatever you want. Um, but the practical steps to get a gig in 2025, I could also tell you that too. How? It probably does look a little bit differently now, but it definitely involves social media. It definitely involves a conversation. It might involve audio messages, even a video message. There are so many strategies I could tell you based on all of the other business stuff I've done. Where it's like, if you just want a gig, man, I can get you a gig.
Yeah.
And maybe the first time you play free, but maybe the second time you charge $100 per guy
Or more.
or more. Anyway, what do you think? Should we cut it here? I
Yeah,
think
we can cut.
that's but again, the name of the show is Backstage Banter. This is a everything that like all of our stories, everything we like that we ever went through, and like maybe some things not that we don't talk about, but for the most part, like yeah, just recalling what we went through, what the current modern day music scene looks like. And yeah, man, I'm excited for it. So
Yeah, should be good.
any last words, Seixas?
Well, when this thing's up on YouTube, hit the subscribe button.
True. Yeah, hit subscribe, give this video a like. Because if you give it a like right now, I want you to understand like you're like one of 69 of the first followers to ever follow us. So that means a lot. And
It gets you nothing, but we appreciate it.
leave a comment and tell me that I look like a
Here we go.
uh, a bald prick.
Partiality.
But whatever you want, man. Like, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. We'll be back again soon. And I guess that's it, man. I guess that's it.
Yeah, man.
That was
All
fun.
right. It was good.
That was fun. All right.
We shall do
Take
it
care,
again.
man.
I see you, man. Good night.
Peace. Backstage
See
banter
you.
out.